This is CAF TV. Welcome, everyone. I'm Alex Bastivansky, bringing you all the action from the Canadian Academy of Football. Tons to catch up on this week. Chris Lako, head coach of Burlington SC, will join me here in the studio to discuss his program and their performance so far this season. Also, I'll have a feature story on CAF's Nick O'Reilly, one of the top players in the province who's taken CAF by storm and is one of the top scorers in the league this year. That's coming up later, but first, let's get to those Sport Check match day highlights. And this week, something a bit different for you. The Super Group is on a 2-week hiatus, which means we turn our attention to some of the different age groups in CAF. Leading off is the under-14 group featuring Brampton Elite and Pathway. The two teams slugged it out last Saturday in a hugely entertaining tilt from Chris Gibson Park. Match day highlights now, brought to you by Sport Check. What are you sweating for? Pressure early by ADP. 5th minute, Jack Aribo smokes it from in close, rings it off the goalie's best friend, though, and the ball stays out. 3 minutes later, it's ADP again. And again, it's Cuba getting bailed out by the iron. Harry Tibbetts hammers it from the top of the box. No dice, though, and we're still scoreless until this. Noah Stapleton threads it to William Vandervelden, who knocks home the stellar shot. And 1-0 Brampton Elite. That's how it was at the break. On to the second half we move then, and Brampton gets burned on the defensive miscue. Ante Mislanovic pokes it past Cuba Grant, and we're all knotted at 1 through 49 minutes of play. Brampton comes right back, though. Paul Alexander breaks in, but gets denied by ADP's Joey Howarth, who comes up with the huge stop. Seconds later, though, Howarth gets burned out of position here, but it looks like an own goal by ADP off the foot of their own defender. Brampton will take it any way they can, and they have a 2-1 advantage. But then ADP pours it on. Golden chance here from Mislanovic, and oops, he hammers it just over top of the bar, though. No worries, they get it back. Off the corner kick, the ball drops to Kieran Goyo, who makes no mistake, and we're all knotted up at 2 apiece through 65 minutes. Then they nab the winner just before full time off another messy cross here. Brampton can't clear it. The ball pinballs around. Finally, ADP socks it home to take the 3-2 lead, and that was all they'd need on this day. Your final 3-2 ADP Academy in a hugely entertaining game. Afterwards, Harry Tibbetts and Joey Hayworth were happy to come out with 3 points against the tough opposition.
It was a hard game. It was physical, lots of through balls and running, and it was a lot of fun. And they were a good team. It was a challenge. They were really fast and had great footwork, but we outplayed them in the end, which matters.
Up next was the under-16 group featuring Fusion Atomics and Brampton Elite. Now, it was a learning experience for Brampton as they were fielding an under-15 squad for this tilt, and they were in tough against powerhouse Fusion Atomic, who had yet to lose or even be scored upon in 5 games this season. Pretty much all Fusion all the time on this day. 8th minute Fusion corner kick. Lucas Placosas hits the header just over the bar, though. Then one of the saves of the week, Dimitrios Barless with the delivery. Jappreet Dowwall with the sprawling stop. Call the cops, that boy got robbed. Beautiful save. But then Barless gets his revenge moments later as he fights off the defender, puts it top shelf behind Dowwall to draw first blood. 1-0 Toronto Fusion. 5 minutes later, the goal of the week, I think I can safely predict here. Dorian, Holder, Polton, Dials long distance with the sublime strike. Nothing the keeper could do to stop that force of nature. 2-0 Fusion. Toronto just keeps on coming. A bit of a mad scramble here. Alexander Cantasano gets stopped on the initial try, but he keeps at it. Ultimately crosses it for Jaspreet Sandhu, who knocks it home. Fusion Atomics fully in control of this one. 3-0 heading into the break. So on to the second half of play we go, and Fusion keep the pressure on. How nice would this one have been? Malik White with the sweet feet, all kinds of moves, but bends the shot just wide of the far post. Fusion with relentless pressure. Sandhu slides past Marco Fralomeni, gets it to Julian Nechevsky out front here. So smooth. 4-0 Toronto Fusion, looking like the first place team they've been all season long. But then a landmark moment. David Greco can't smother the big shot. Jolando Sinclair, Johnny on the spot to clean up the mess. That's the first goal Toronto has allowed all season, and it makes it 4-1. Fusion nearly gets it right back off the corner kick, though. Nechevsky tries to knock home the rebound here, but William Vandervasten with the goal line stand for Brampton to keep it a 3-goal lead at that point. 6-1 Fusion is your final. Kudos to Brampton, though, as mentioned, that one goal they scored, the first goal that Fusion has allowed the entire year. So an accomplishment for Brampton nonetheless. 6-1 your final. Welcome back to CAF TV. On to the under-18 division we move now, which has been dominated by Supernova FC this season. Heading into their game last weekend, the squad was rocking a perfect 4-0 record, outscoring their opposition 27-1 in the process. And on Sunday, ADP Academy was the latest to feel their wrath. Supernova in blue, ADP in white. They were in for a world of hurt on this day. Supernova nearly strikes just 2 minutes in. ADP with the defensive miscue. Enrico D'Agostini charges in, but Sam Raglan provides the goal line rescue to keep things scoreless. But 5 minutes later, it's Supernova drawing first blood. Albert Sumayer slides behind the ADP backline. He's got all the time in the world to pick his spot. He smacks it home, and the Blues jump out to the early 1-0 lead. Soon after, off the free kick, the ball pops to the uncovered Tyrell Sinclair, who makes it look way too easy. Supernova up by a deuce, and there was much more to come from them. 5 minutes later, Curtis Lim fights off his man, and this baby had eyes. Up, over, and in it goes. Supernova in full control with the 3-0 lead over shell-shocked ADP. The Blues getting it done on the defensive end as well. Nick Mateza thinks he's got one. Keeper Alec Capstick leaning the wrong way makes the huge stop. Then it's Nick Caccia with his eyes fixed on the top corner, but again, Capstick says, makes another solid stop. Just before the half, no arguing this one, Curtis Lim gets hammered to the turf by Sam Raglan in the box. Pretty obvious. They put Albert Sumayer on the spot. He makes no mistake. That makes it 4-zip Supernova. And there's your final score. Supernova continued to roll the entire way on a beautiful day for soccer at Memorial Park in Streetsville in the under-18 division. Let's check out now the Yogerty Super Group standings. Still on top, Epic FC. Now, of course, the Super Group is on a 2-week hiatus. They pick up the schedule again next week. Epic and GCS tied. Cap and Burlington tied for 3rd. Dragon Force in 5th. And Jenga in 6th place. And the upcoming game, Sunday, July 19th, GCS against Dragon Force at 10 a.m. Epic and Jenga at noon. And Cap Academy and Burlington at 2 p.m. Now, Centennial Stadium will be the site for that. And just remember, CAFsoccer.com for all the up-to-date news, stats, and standings. And I'm joined in the studio now by the head coach of the Burlington Supergroup Under-14 team, Chris Lako. Welcome back to the studio. Your
Thanks
second time this year, man. Yeah.
Thanks
So last game was a couple of weeks ago for you guys now against Cap. And strong performance from you guys. You guys were down early. You came back. You won the game 3-2. Just first of all, how do you think the guys played?
I think we're finally starting to gel as a team. They're really starting to perform and respond to the tactical training. Like we talked about last time I was on, we were an early team 6 weeks in. And now as you started to see the results, 2 wins in a row, and we're beginning to gel and compete. So I think with time, we're only going to be an even stronger team. And the most solid thing is we're starting to see improvements in the middle of the pitch, especially with our midfield, which is starting to really turn the team around.
Yeah, I was going to say, my next question. We talked about that last time. It was a fairly new team. You guys had only been together for about 6 weeks, I think, at the time that the CAF Supergroup season started. So, what are the improvements overall that you've seen from these guys, aside from just the midfield and stuff? You guys are obviously gelling a lot more now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm starting to see that the understanding between the players is really starting to be there, and the tactical training is helping a lot. So, say for example, with our midfielders, when they receive it in the middle, they know right away when they switch to play that we'll have width to be able to penetrate. So, right now, being able to train together as a team and have this amount of time to actually gel together has really improved their performances.
They seem to read each other a lot better on the field too. They seem to know their movements and where everyone's going. Obviously, that just comes from playing together more, doesn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Going over it in training is definitely the #1 thing that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Of course, technical is a big aspect, but in a team game, we also have to understand how we're going to play together.
Right. So you guys have got this 2-week break right now. You guys are back on next week. What has the team been doing? We've only got about 30 seconds, but what have you guys been doing during the time off in the CAF schedule?
What we've been looking to do is we're looking to plan some exhibition games with competitive teams. One of the main focuses of this program is to play against strong competition all the time. We don't want easy games because that won't develop our players, and even if you win by a large margin, it just gives you a false sense of security. So we just want to play the best to be the best.
Awesome, man. We're going to get back to this in just a moment. We got to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk all about Burlington, what the academy is all about, and also some of the key players. CAF TV returning in just a moment. And welcome back to CAF TV, joined in the studio by Chris Lako, the head coach of the Under-14 Supergroup Burlington Academy SC team. And let's talk about it. For those who don't know or didn't watch the first time you were on, just talk a bit about Burlington Academy and what it's all about.
Burlington Academy was brought together to create a professional environment for players where they're training 5 days a week and having a competitive match, if not 2 a week. So the main vision of this Burlington team is to be able to create a professional environment in Canada that is rarely seen here, to basically mimic what they have in Europe and in other countries that have strong development programs.
Right. Mihail Markovic, the guy behind it, he's the one who started it in the first place. We were watching some of the warm-up footage there before the break when he was putting them through their paces a couple weeks ago. You actually weren't, that was the one game that you weren't actually able to be there for. That's the one time I'm filming the warm-up and Chris wasn't there, but Mihail did a great job. He's the guy who started the program. He's got a lot of passion for it, obviously. Just talk about him and him starting this in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was unfortunate. I was actually sick that day, so I wasn't able to attend. But for this vision in this program, when he called me in to bring this U14 team in, the first thing that I asked him was, well, what's your vision? What would you like to accomplish with this team? And he said to create players who are able to go overseas and compete. So once I started building this U14 team, we started to talk about our philosophies and they really started to match up. And from here on out, what we've been looking to do is create the 5 sessions, which we began on July 8th, I believe. We've been doing 4 stress sessions so far, plus a game. And now that we have our 5 sessions plus a game, we're starting to build relationships with some MLS franchise teams where we can go over the border and play against them, as well as play against TFC here as well. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to build a very professional environment for the players where they're training on a curriculum so they're able to develop just like the players are in Europe, and providing them with the most competitive environment so that they can push themselves each training and each game.
All right, you're a former professional player yourself, played in North America, played over in Europe, and now you run CL football. So Burlington actually brought Chris in to help coach the Under-14 program. So talk about CL football and what that is about and how you brought that philosophy to Burlington.
CL football, for me, it's a big passion of mine because I have a technical program which is run for all elite players. It doesn't matter to me where you play. If you want to have an extra training session based on a curriculum, you're allowed to come and train, and that's on Saturdays at noon. And they come and then they train and then they go back to their respective clubs. And CL football, the positional program, the team program, the tactical program, the fitness program, that's all implemented into the team training. So CL football is basically an organization that provides an avenue for elite players to train and develop themselves both technically, positionally, tactically, and in hopes of one day furthering their career as professionals.
You're right, and we're showing the website, and it's sailfootball.com, of course,
Yes.
if people want to find out more about it. A couple players I wanted to talk about quickly who've really shone this year for Burlington. Stood out, Kristen Starcevic, fantastic player. Him and Ilya just worked together in tandem, like incredibly out there. We'll get to Ilya in a second, but talk about Christian first and what Christian brings.
Christian has incredible intensity. And with him on the ball, especially when there's space, it doesn't matter how organized your defense is, he can always throw you off. He's one of those players that has a lot of energy and pace, and he's always looking to finish. He's what we like to call a menace up front. And playing against a player like that, no matter how organized your defense is, he can always surprise you somehow. And pairing him up with a player like Ilya, who is more calm and likes to play through vision, a pairing like that is a very devastating duel.
They absolutely are, the way they play off each other. And talk about Ilya, he's one of the leading goal scorers in the CAF Supergroup so far this year. Just a dynamic talent, scores from all over the field, such great ball control. I'm actually, giving you all the answers before you're going to talk about it here, but those are my observations anyway. Talk about Ilya Ilic.
Ilya provides something unique. He's a combination of pace and power as well, but he has exceptional vision. He's able to take players on and disturb defenses while also playing penetrating passes to get other players through, as well as go through and finish himself.
Yeah.
And to have a combination in one player like that, it's very hard to defend, because if you drop off him, he'll be able to punish himself, but if you press him high, he'll bring other players into the game. So for me, having those two up front as a coach, it's a great honor, and it's excellent to coach.
And that
both.
goal scoring ability he's got is just out of this world, isn't it?
Oh,
He might be the leading scorer in the league this year. I'm not quite sure on the stats, but I know if not, he's one of them.
He's
for
one
sure.
of them for sure.
Yeah. So if people want to find out more about Burlington, it's burlingtonscacademy.com.
Yep.
And if you want to find out more, as we mentioned, about Chris's academy, which also trains with Burlington SC, it's clfootball.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, man.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
Okay, CAF TV returning in just a moment. Welcome back to CAF TV. Well, as you'll have noticed if you've watched the show frequently this year, the name Nick O'Reilly tends to pop up with regularity when we're featuring CAP Academy Supergroup highlights. The talented 13-year-old is one of the league's top scorers and all-around great players, and we take a closer look now at his game in this week's CAF Player Profile, brought to you by Leica Sports. Leica, your passion, our commitment. He's been virtually unstoppable this year. CAP Academy's Nick O'Reilly has stepped up in the biggest moments when his team needs him the most. He's a dynamic player that brings a multitude of talents to the pitch.
I think I bring speed, power, and precision. I think I can run the wing very well, pass the ball very well, and cross it. So I think that's what I bring to the team.
O'Reilly has spent his entire soccer career with the Guelph-based program, and his talents haven't gone unnoticed. Recently, he was chosen to play among some of the best players Canada has to offer.
And we are very proud of him because this year he's one of the players that is playing for the provincial program at the Ontario Soccer Association.
It was a great experience. I played against Quebec 3 times, and it was probably one of the best experiences playing soccer of my life. So I really enjoyed that. I met a whole bunch of new players and different coaches and different outputs on soccer, so it was pretty amazing.
And it's very rewarding, and we are very happy having a kid that comes through our program that is one of the other kids and is showing and leading the way for everybody else on success.
CAP coach Ruben Flores leans on O'Reilly as one of the young squad's main leaders.
He's probably one of the older ones on the team. Therefore, we expect that. We expect leadership, we expect goals, we expect everything that he does. But on the field, we can see he's a very technical player. He's quick on the ball, he's sharp, he gets good crosses, he's not selfish, he scores goals, but also gives a good assist, and I think that that's some of his strengths on the field.
I think I do. I think I show a leadership role. I think I'm very mature on the field, and I just try to teach these guys how to relax and stay calm whenever you're playing. So I think I am a leader on this team.
The most immediately noticeable thing about O'Reilly's game is his scoring ability.
Yeah, it's always been there for me. I've done it since I was young. I play on the left side, but I like to shift to more central area to get the ball. And I guess I just have the determination to score and make our team win.
He has the goal. It's something you can teach. Nobody can take credit of that. No coach, no team, no organization can take credit for a goal scorer. These kids are born with that. And of course, they have to do it with the hard work of the whole team. But whoever has that touch to put the ball in and that vision and that timing is something they have. And God bless them for that, because that's what makes the sport so beautiful.
And once he puts the ball in the net, the 13-year-old celebrates like no other player in CAF.
Well, most of them are from basketball. Some of my favorite basketball players, like James Harden, like this during the pod, is from him. And basketball is my second favorite sport, so I guess I kind of intertwine with them as well. So it makes it kind of between each thing. So and that's what I get my celebrations from.
And that's something that we embrace in well, right? When you score a goal, that's your moment. That's something you have to enjoy. And I agree with you. He has some character, and he comes with the best ideas and with great celebrations. It's fun to watch.
All right, time now for the CAF Countdown, the top 5 plays of the week, brought to you by Focus Integrative Therapy. Focus, dedicated to your ongoing health and wellness. Number 5, Supernova's Alec Capstick, leaning the wrong way, somehow manages to deny Nick Matesa of a sure goal. Great save. Number 4, Brampton's William Vandervelden in the under-14 division finds some daylight, slams it top corner for the nice goal in what was a tight contest. Number 3, Demetrios Barlas with the delivery. Brampton's Japreet Dalwal with a sprawling stop to keep it out against Toronto Fusion. Beauty. Number 2, Supernova's Curtis Lim from the ridiculous angle somehow picks the top corner on the far side, one of the numerous Supernova goals in their romp against AVP. And number 1, Dorian Holder-Polton from a different area code with a sublime strike that beats Japreet Dalwal, one of the best we've seen this year. Definitely worthy of our Focus Integrative Play of the Week. And that's all the time we've got for this week. Just remember, though, lots of different ways that you can keep up to date with all the age groups of the Canadian Academy of Football. Check out the league website at cafsoccer.com or Twitter at CAF_football. And you can follow our Facebook page as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. I'll see you next week for more CAF TV.